Greetings, League Maniacs, Monster Crimes, and today I want to talk again about what if Dante and Vergil's positions were switched in Devil May Cry. So, last time I did like a brief overview of their characters, how they would act, and everything else, and I was basing it off of Champion Analysis's many videos talking about the same exact thing. He even did a full in-depth like rewrite of Devil May Cry 3. Um, and I'm not going to really change his formula, except there's a big question. Would Devil May Cry 5 even happen? So the other games, they still would. However, how different would Devil May Cry 5 be? For that, we need to talk about Devil May Cry 4 a little bit. So Nero is still around, and he's Dante's son. Does that change anything? No, I don't think so. I think he would have the exact same personality, um, and because he wasn't raised by Dante or Vergil, so his personality would be exactly the same. He would still be raised in the Order of the Sword. And speaking of the Order of the Sword, how would they set their plans in motion? Well, they could use the rebellion. Someone mentioned this. Yeah, I could see the rebellion being used to open the Hell Gates, and all that other stuff would happen normally. So the main thing that would actually change Devil May Cry 4 would be the character interactions. Vergil would have very different reactions to the characters, but that would really be it. Devil May Cry 4 would still tell the same exact story, and well, Vergil would let Nero keep the rebellion. He would not take it back. He wouldn't keep it for himself. He would see that, okay, this kid is obviously my family because the rebellion reacted to him like that. The broken rebellion. The rebellion being broken by Mundus when Dante fell into the underworld and tried to fight Mundus. That didn't go very well for him. He became Neolangelo. That all happens. Regardless, before we talk about Devil May Cry 5 proper, a few things. First off, there is no V or any character like him. He only existed because the Yamato was a thing, and Vergil got the Yamato to split himself in two. So obviously Vergil's the good guy here, and Dante cannot split his human and devil halves, so he can't do that. Secondly, this what if Nero could potentially, not saying 100%, potentially be stronger or at least better at fighting, because I think Vergil would train him. He would help him out. He would help him get his anger under control, and so Nero would be a lot more like Vergil. Um, he wouldn't be the exact same character. He would, of course, be his same self, but he would be a lot less hot-headed. He would be a lot more calm and collective, at least in my personal opinion. If you think he'd be even more of a hothead, then possibly. But with Vergil training him, with Vergil effectively taking care of him, but also giving him some space. By this point, Vergil would have gone through most of his arc where he stops trying to control everybody and stops trying to put all the burden on himself. So he's a lot more of an open character now. Anyway, how does Devil May Cry 5 happen? How does Dante even resurrect the Qliphoth? Because I still think it'd be a thing. Well, he was in Fortuna for some time, and being the fact that he's the son of Sparta and they obviously worship Sparta, they would give him whatever he wanted for two reasons. First off, I mean, this is effectively their version of Jesus Christ. And secondly, they were scared of Dante. Remember, Dante is a very free, doesn't care, reactionary character. Like, he doesn't care. He doesn't view humans as anything to really preserve. But he did have a one night stand with a chick, so that's how Nero became a thing. So, the beginning of the story is Dante shows up all cloaked and in pretty rough shape, rips Nero's arm off, his demonic right arm, and gets the rebellion back. Now, he cannot make a portal with the rebellion. It doesn't have that ability. But instead, I would say that the rebellion would be somewhat healing to Dante, to where it's like mending him, because a lot of his power and a lot of his father's power is still in the rebellion, and that would start to heal Dante. Not a lot. It wouldn't restore him fully, but it would be enough for him to set his plans in motion, which would be resurrect the Qliphoth. Yes, I know. It's weird that this version of Dante is this chaotic neutral, or maybe even chaotic evil character, and he's reactionary and a thrill seeker. Why would he bother with a stupid tree? He doesn't have a choice. He wants to beat Vergil, but he's not strong enough. He only ripped Nero's arm off because Nero was caught off guard. Anyway, Qliphoth gets resurrected. The beginning half of the beginning of the story still happens exactly the same. Except Dante wouldn't be some big demon dude that no one knows who he is. He would still be himself, but permanently in his double trigger as his human side is being healed. Of course, at this point, Dante wishes he could just separate his human half because he thinks that's what's making him weak, and in actuality, it's the human side making him strong. So, Lady, Trish, Nero, and Vergil all go up to the Qliphoth. They all venture in, and, well, they find Dante there, except he, I would say, is mutated looking. He's in his double trigger, but he's much bigger. I would say he's huge, not like massive, but maybe like 10 feet tall at this point or something. And very small glimpses of his sin double trigger would start to form as he's getting more and more power. Vergil seeing this would be devastated. Like, he could not believe how far Dante has gone, how low Dante has gone. Vergil would even yell this at Dante, and again say, because Vergil has said this to Dante a few times in this series, in this What If, this was not Mother's wish. Dante wouldn't care. He would be drunk off power at this point, and he would egg both Nero and Vergil on. And Nero seeing his father act like this would, of course, piss him off. He'd go double trigger, but it would be that pseudo JoJo stand double trigger that he has in No Man's Sky 4, although almost his full double trigger. His full double trigger is nearing completion because he was training with Vergil a lot, and it's possible he was also using the Sparta and other powerful artifacts that Vergil has, as Vergil would want Nero to awaken his double trigger, his full double trigger. Now, some people might be saying, wait, the rebellion was the one that was sword that stabbed him, not the Yamato this time. So, wouldn't he already have his full double trigger? I don't think so. It's possible, but no. I'm gonna say no. It's close, though. Anyway, of course, Nero and Vergil here can't win. Even 2v1, they can't win. Dante is too powerful. And I would actually say he's stronger than Urizen, because Urizen didn't have a human half. So, anyway. The two would be defeated, and the Yamato would be broken. Vergil would be flung out of the Qliphoth, and Nero would just have had enough. Trish would throw Nero the double sword Sparta, and this would give him quite the amp, but it would not be enough. Even dual wielding his Red Queen and the double sword Sparta with his like phantom arm, it wouldn't be enough. Dante would win again. Now, Dante being, Dante here, he would be gloating, and he kept these two alive for a reason. And he even yells that, come back when you're stronger. This will be one hell of a final party, right, brother? Laughing maniacally as he captures Lady and Trish. Trish's existence would get under his skin. All he would see is the face that abandoned him. At least in his mind. But what he doesn't realize is that Vergil's words were true. His mother tried to save him as well, but couldn't. Anyway, 1 month later, Vergil's unconscious, and Nero has to do everything himself. Of course, he's got his double breakers. The Sparta flew somewhere away near Vergil, so he doesn't have that. And I'm just going to throw this in because I think it would be fun. Nero looks at the double arms that Vergil has because he collects them, and he takes Ifrit. That'd be fun, and I think it would fit Nero. Nero with Ifrit, modders, please, give me. Even if it's just a reskin of Beowulf, give me. Anyway, Nero and Nico are doing everything now. Well, Nero's doing everything. Nico's just taking him to places where he needs to be. So, it's the Nero show for a while. Basically, the first half of the game is all Nero. There's no Mission 8. He would not go after Dante again because he isn't strong enough, and he doesn't want to risk anything. He also doesn't want to see his father. He's like convincing himself that his father could change, but at the same time, maybe not. Like, that's Dante. He can't change. Anyway, he would find Vergil, give him this double sword Sparta, which would wake him up. Vergil would be filled in on everything, but he would be appalled at Dante. Like he can't believe it. Like he has given up on his brother before, but man, this just cuts him deep because he doesn't see his brother anymore. He sees Mundus, which just disturbs him to no end. And especially with the broken Yamato, it signifies that their relationship is probably unmendable. Anyway, after Vergil has recovered and gets more of a pep in his step from Nero saying that they have a job to do, and also Vergil seeing Nero use Ifrit gives him a bit of a kick. Like that's fun. He hopes he's having fun with Ifrit. It fits him, you know? Regardless. He saves Trish. I don't see Vergil getting a motorcycle weapon. That is definitely not his style. So I would say Nico would be the one to take him to the next location. So, if you want to write in some sort of new double arm that Vergil would get from Cavalier, I'd love to hear it. I don't I don't think it'd be a motorcycle. Some people might be saying horse. I don't know. Bow? Maybe. That'd be cool. I want to see canonical Vergil use a Daiku. That's just me. Or a Yumi. Regardless, we move on, but Nero makes a stand right at the end of Mission 11. He's going with Vergil. He's helping his uncle out. He even says, stop being such a brick wall and let people assist you. Come on, man. So, uncle and nephew just absolutely run a train on enemies. Like, they're just plowing through their way through the demons. Like, holy crap. One of them was enough, but both at the same time working very well together because they trained a lot together. I feel bad for the demons. Jesus. Of course, this would lead back to the family home, and Vergil would absorb the Sparta and the Yamato, awakening his Sin Double Trigger and gaining Double Sword Vergil, which would look very similar to, I guess, Yamato, but it would be blue, or, well, in this case, it'd be red. His energy in this case would be red, not blue. Just basing off of champion analysis. Anyway, Vergil would grab Nero and fly him to the top of the Clyphot because they now can finish this. However, they don't realize that Dante isn't there. Yeah, he actually left a little bit ago. He's actually chilling where the fruit is and waiting for it. So they're both confused, like, where the hell did he go? Oh no. And once they reunite with Trish and Lady and everything, Trish would explain that, no, Dante has gone for the fruit. And he might be on the cusp of attaining it. So they need to hurry. And I'm going to throw this in. Lady is not going to fight here, but Trish is. Yeah, why not? Now you have three characters. And yeah, Vergil knows Nico. They have a bit of a different relationship. Of course, Nico knows about him and respects him and knows that he's a legend and everything, but she never made anything for him because Vergil doesn't use guns. He just uses his summoned swords. And I would say his summoned swords at this point would just be, like, he would have so many creative things that he can do with them. And I would even say that Nero is experimenting with summoned swords. Anyway, Nero, Vergil, and Trish then go ahead and just run a train on the demons. And Trish gets a new sword. Which sword out of Vergil's collection? Because he has everything. Let me know in the comments. What sword would Trish use here? I would say Alistair. Or something like that. Let me know. I'm very curious. I think it'd be fun. Or it could be another weapon altogether. Or a few of them. So I'm just going to skip ahead because obviously the missions go the same. Except we have a tag team between Nero and Trish versus Malphus, who does not stand a chance. I mean, Nero basically no-diffed her. So, in canon, so with Trish there, yeah. Mission 14 is just going to be Trish's own thing, where she's not fighting shadows of anything. She's just fighting a bunch of demons and maybe some new boss or something. I don't know. Vergil fights King Cerberus. And I can see him reading some William Blake. In the comments, what do you think the dialogue would be between King Cerberus and Vergil? I think it'd be pretty funny. So then we get to Mission 17, Sin Double Trigger v Sin Double Trigger. But it's a tie. Almost. I would say Vergil slightly has the advantage here. but it's very minor. Nero then joins the fray. And once again, Dante flees. He's actually able to flee here. He cheap shots Nero to distract Vergil and then just runs away. He goes to the absolute top of the Qliphoth and waits. Also, he needs his body to get more used to the Sin Devil Trigger power. Like, his body is fully restored now, but this is a new thing. He needs a little bit of time to get fully acclimated to it. So, at the top of the Qliphoth, we have Vergil versus Dante for the last time. Vergil would just be berating Dante for all of he's done. Like, this is not our family's will. This was not what our father would have wanted. What would our mother think? Dante wouldn't care. He would simply just say, "You've never cared for me. Why do you care now?" Of course, Vergil has always cared for Dante. And he would even say this, like, "I've always cared about you, brother. I just didn't know how to express it." Oh, and if you're asking, no, there's no Double Sword Dante. It's just Rebellion. Maybe slightly altered, but it would still just be Rebellion. And he would also have Ebony and Ivory, still. Or maybe he wouldn't. Maybe they're lost in the underworld somewhere. The two brothers would fight. And just before they have the final showdown, Nero shows up and breaks it up. Now fully in his double trigger form. Dante, being very curious about his kid, even though at the start he said he didn't care about him, it would be like, okay, well, how about this, Vergil? If I can beat Nero, I win. So, father and son would fight, but Dante, being exhausted, would not be able to keep up with his brutal child. And Nero would also have Ifrit on, so there's a thing. And we get the same ending as Devil May Cry 5 in the canon, except it'd be Vergil mostly talking to Nero, saying that, alright, we must go to the underworld and sever the connection between the roots of the Qliphoth. So we're gonna do that, and Vergil even promises that he's gonna be back, and he even gives him his William Blake book. Dante even says that to Nero, he won't lose a second time. Next time, he'll win, and he'll show him who's boss. So that is just a brief rundown at Devil May Cry 5. Now, I could write a full story of this, but I don't think I really need to, because the story would be somewhat similar, but again, there would be some differences, at least in my version. Also, I just wanted to include Trish, because why can't we play as her and Lady in Devil May Cry 5? Come on. Hopefully the next Devil May Cry game that isn't Peak of Combat, that we can actually play as Lady and Trish, and they have much more refined move sets. But Trish wouldn't have a double sword Sparta anymore. Yeah. Again, I would say that she would be using Alistair or some other sword like that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, like, very brief sort of fan fiction. And obviously another thing I could do with a full story is actually give way more dialogue to these characters. I think the conversation between Dante and Vergil at the top of the Qliphoth would be a lot longer, and Vergil would just be trying to convince his brother for the final time to just come back to him, just, be a family again. And I think Dante would say something along the lines of, "If you want to stop me, then you're going to have to kill me, if you can stomach it." Yeah, I think Dante would be pretty far gone by this point, but it's also possible that Vergil could convince him to chill out and come back and be family again. Dante's ways would be pretty set in stone, but since he's a thrill seeker, I see Vergil using that as sort of excuses, like, hey, instead of going down Mundus's path, why don't you go down the path of our father Sparta? It'd be a lot more fun. There'd be a lot more thrills to enjoy, including one day going against Mundus himself. Imagine the entire Sparta bloodline versus Mundus. Doesn't that sound fun? Yeah, I see that happening. That's possible. But there is the argument that Dante is just too far gone in this story. Anyway, I'm gonna stop. This is a very long video at this point, and I apologize for that, but there was a lot for me to cover, and even though I briefly went through it, still a lot. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, in Trilby, we trust.